Welcome to the Flip Side of Crypto. And today we shall cover all 5 news topics which you should care about. Join me as always, Tor Constantino. Welcome, Tor.
Good to see you today.
Now, the 5 news topics for today. Saudi Aramco denies entering Bitcoin mining. It's quite big news. Tor, could you please give us the rundown?
So basically, the world's 3rd largest oil producing firm has announced that they are not using its excise byproduct of gas flaring to produce Bitcoin mining. That was reported over the weekend, but this Saudi Aramco is denying that.
Why did people even think that Aramco was going into Bitcoin mining?
Honestly, because I think it makes sense. If there is an oil producing function and this byproduct through the purification process of gas flaring, that is a contributor to carbon-based global warming gases. Why wouldn't you want to take that byproduct that has to be disposed of in some way, use it to produce something such as Bitcoin mining? To me, it makes sense and it would be a good idea.
Now, of course, this news has a lot of flip sides to it. One of them is, let's just say, hypothetically, Saudi Aramco did try to mine Bitcoin. What would that future look like?
Yeah, I think it would be positive, again, because the thing is that if all of these oil producing companies and oil processing and purification companies, instead of having those byproducts just dispersed out into the atmosphere, if they could repurpose them and reuse them to do something else with it, something productive, like proof of work mining, not just for Bitcoin, but perhaps for Dogecoin or Ethereum, at least for now, it's still not fully proof of stake, that would be a positive. And again, I don't understand why they wouldn't do it. And I'm not sure why they're denying it. There are other gas companies that are considering this, other energy producing companies, but it would be a positive, I think, for the world going forward.
Absolutely. Cannot agree more. In other news, USDT is losing in the stablecoin market share. USDC is stepping on its toes.
So there's the first mover advantage for any industry is the one that kind of is the first into the space, usually gets the bulk of the share and gets the bulk of the business and use. And that was exactly what happened with Tether. And Tether came on the scene in 2018, I believe, and they have been the dominant stablecoin within the cryptocurrency space. But then came along USDC, as you mentioned, and DAI and Binance, and these are all kind of nibbling away at its market share now.
Yeah. Now, as a flip side to that, I mean, USDC and others do not have the first movers advantage. And more importantly, it's kind of a stable coin environment is very unclear to me. What will happen when governments get into regulating stable coins? Will we still have the same future? Are stable coins that stable? That still remains to be seen.
I think you're making an excellent point there. And that's one of the problems with Tether right now is that it's really coming under scrutiny by government authorities and regulators. And we talked last week how the U.S. Department of Justice is actually bringing criminal charges against former Tether executives. USDC, US coin, that is represented by Circle, which is a subsidiary of the Digital Currency Group. And as you pointed out, Circle is having its own IPO. Circle has done a very good job of trying to comply and build its coin compliant with regulators. They're trying to make sure that every one of its coin is pegged to an actual dollar. That's one of the things that USDT has come under fire for, is it said, oh yes, we've got every one of our coins is backed and pegged to an asset, but it wasn't to a dollar. It's been to riskier commercial paper and some other types of loans that have called into question its integrity and its use case. So some of this is kind of self-inflicted by USDT.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Binance is strengthening its KYC. It's about time.
As you pointed out, their KYC stands for Know Your Customer, And that is a client verification tool that is required by the vast majority of exchanges. However, some exchanges have chosen not to, in the spirit and ethos and philosophy of decentralization and privacy, and some of those use cases that we all love about cryptocurrencies.
And what this means is, since August 4th, basically, if you have a basic account verification, you will not be able to move out more than 0.06 BTC per day. Now, this does not apply to you if you have full verification applied to yourself. So basically, for users who are more inclined to keep their anonymity, Binance might not be your preferred platform any longer. Now, of course, let's be honest, having complete anonymity and large sums of money flowing around is risky, for both parties. So this should come as no surprise to everyone, especially as following the news about the recent engagements that Binance had with many regulators around the globe. Anything to add, Tor?
The thing that I would add, Martynas, is that the reason why for know your customer is to avoid anti-money laundering practices as well as anti-terrorism practices. Because in the past, there are coins that had been used for both of those illegal purposes as well as criminal activity. So to your point, to make cryptocurrencies mainline, to foster mass adoption, these types of verification steps have to be put in place, and they should be.
In other news, altcoins record monthly gains. Ethereum, Polygon, Filecoin. Tor, take it away.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about Ethereum, and this isn't really too much of a surprise, but it saw record volumes as far as terms of transaction volume and transaction fees. Both of those typically went up and laddered up accordingly. Polygon addresses, new accounts that added Polygon, they doubled. And then Hong Kong company Imperium Group Capital announced that via Twitter that it had purchased 12,000 new Filecoins, and there's a pump accordingly amongst that particular asset class. Pretty interesting things within the altcoin space.
Indeed. I'm quite excited for Ethereum, especially as the new update, the burning mechanism, will be introduced. It will be quite interesting to see whether or not Ethereum will be able to escape being so tethered, pun intended, to Bitcoin's price.
Indeed. You nailed it right there. The EIP, which stands for Ethereum Improvement Project 1559, it is in full force. They are looking at ways to keep the gas fees down. They are looking at ways to improve the speed and the scalability of the number of transactions per second. And that's all in the roll-up to ETH 2.0, where they will migrate to proof of stake there as opposed to proof of work. There is a lot of excitement around Ethereum right now. If you look at the technical charts, it is actually more bullish than Bitcoin. It has a lot more promise and upside, especially because the recent adoption and excitement around NFTs and DeFi. There's a lot to be excited about with Ethereum.
Absolutely. Now, of course, the flip side to that, knowing Ethereum and development life cycles, it might take a bit longer than expected. Yeah, we might have some hiccups along the way, but things are coming our way. Vitalik, good job in your acting career. I can see him along with DiCaprio very soon. Now, last news, CryptoPunks. This is a sobering story of NFTs being scammed out from a Discord server. Tor, could you give us the details?
Yeah, so there's on Twitter, there's this user's name's Skaze, I believe Skize, and he listed a multi-link message that he had lost 385,000 worth of CryptoPunks and some Ethereum. He saw a message that came up in a forum. He said it looked legit and looked for an airdrop, and at the end of the day, lost a significant amount of his asset base with these 5 seldom sold or rare CryptoPunk NFTs. It's sad, but it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and this is our word of caution, a Dailycoin word of caution. Please never to anyone, not even to your mother or grandmother. You never know who they might be pretending to be, and vice versa. Never give your seed phrase, wallet, account information to unverified users. It's especially important in this day and age where everything seems to be interconnected. It might seem like old news, but please have more than one password. Please have two-factor authentication. Otherwise, if this is true, more than $250,000 worth of NFTs could be stolen. And yeah, hopefully that this was not the life savings of this person. Anything to add, Tor?
The only thing I would add is that if you read through the full list, the link on Twitter, he kind of did it himself. And I hate to say that, but because the cryptocurrency space doesn't have as much regulation as other financial areas, we have to be smarter than that. And we have to not click on a link and expect to get an airdrop and get free assets. If it, again, sounds too good to be true, it probably is. It looked like a real MetaMask wallet where he was making his deposit to link to. And as you said, the security was compromised and they asked for his seed phrase and he gave it. Those are just basic security functions that you just don't do. And this individual claims to have been in the crypto space for 2017. So the only thing that we can do is learn from this and not follow suit and do the same thing. It's sad, but it's avoidable. This was avoidable.
Absolutely. Now, for the viewers back home, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And please share with us, which is the most egregious scam you've ever seen or been scammed yourselves. Please share your views below so we may all learn from it and maybe advise others how not to fall for them. This has been The Flip Side of Crypto with me and Tor. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next episode.